Hi, welcome to Lead with Love podcast. I'm your host, Christy, and I am super thrilled to be sharing conscious content that I know will be a game changer for you in your life. Every aspect of our journey requires growth for change so that we can evolve into our best selves. And in each one of these episodes, we're going to lead with the intention to water our souls, feed our minds, and inspire ourselves to love more and deeper. It's so important that we begin to love where we've been, love where we are, and love where we are growing. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to our, I think this is like our 5th podcast. How incredible is that? It's been so great being on this journey with all of you and hearing your feedback in regards to our past episodes. I'm super grateful for all of our listeners and also love your reviews. So the more that we're able to share this information, the more people we can help heal. And that's truly what my mission here is, to help as many people evolve into their best version of themselves as much as possible, and sharing the wisdom that I've learned over my life and the 20 years I've been in business and been leading people and doing the best I can to lead myself. Is it's so great when we can share. And I always like to encourage people, like, you know what, when you've learned something from a teacher or maybe in life, don't be afraid to share. I mean, I really do feel like a lot of people are afraid to share because they think, well, this person, who am I to share this information? Or maybe they don't want my information. And I just kind of think of it like this, like, I will share and I will serve. And if people want it, great. And if they don't, that's fine too. No feelings are hurt. And so if we just all shared a little bit more, just as nature shares with us, the world would be a much different place. So right now I'm actually on an island somewhere in the Pacific Northwest. We took a cool little ferry yesterday with our camper van to this little island called, I think it's called Coopville, I think. We stayed on the island last night. It was, just super cool to do something different. We took off on this road trip. I don't know, it's been over a week ago, and the intention was to go for about a week, and now we're going past our 1 week intention, because truly we're just working to be in the flow and trusting where the road is leading us. And so today's topic, I want to talk about our life purpose, our life path, and if we can gain clarity in regards to where we're supposed to be, then I do believe that there is a lot more happiness that flows through us when we're able to just surrender to needing to control absolutely everything on our life path. So today we're going to talk about, our purpose and what our purpose is, and how can we find our greater purpose? How do we know if we're on purpose? So much of our life purpose is really needing to focus on being present within ourselves too, and where we're at in the moment, and feeling where we're at and being where we need to be in that moment to learn whatever it is that we need to learn, and so that we can evolve into our best, most beautiful self, because all of it is important. Everything is important. All where you're at right now is important. I know there's been times for me in my life where I've been like, oh my God, I know exactly what I'm doing. And I had all this fire and this energy that I put towards it. And it was like, you couldn't stop me. I was like a freight train, and, I was going to get there no matter what. And that was being in my life purpose. But then there's also been times when I needed to be still. I needed to be quiet. I needed to go in. I needed to be in the dark night of the soul. I needed to be in the valley. And you'll find that most of the time of your life, you're climbing the mountain or you're in the valley. It's not very often where we've reached the mountaintop, right? And that's okay, because there's so much beautiful experiences in the climb. And so many people are just focused on the destination that they're not even enjoying the journey to get there. And so I really want to just, encourage everyone to think about, really focus on being a human being, and that's why we're called human beings, not human doings, because we've been in some way conditioned to do. And I love doing, don't get me wrong, but it depends on if everything else is balanced, right? So if my human doingness is evading or conflicting with being, right? Being good to myself, taking care of my body, my mind, my soul, taking care of those relationships around me that are super important to me, taking care of my health and my finances and my the things that matter. When being a human doing interferes with human being, then we have to check ourselves, and we have to get ourselves back into alignment. Because as I've learned, like if you don't pay attention to these areas of your life and what's going on, and do a checks and balancing act every week and say, okay, is everything in balance? Okay, am I giving enough attention to my partner? Am I feeding myself enough? Am I taking care of myself? Are my children getting enough quality time? Or, how are they doing right now? How's my finances? And you can tell if you're a human doing, if you are experiencing depression, anxiety, or, you're putting on a facade, you're putting on a mask. You're not smiling that much. You're not happy. You're not laughing. Maybe you have some expectations that aren't being met in your life. Maybe you had planned that you would be further along in your life journey or your financial journey than you are right now. And so when you measure where you thought you'd be to where you are, it creates a level of anxiety for you. Maybe you expected your relationship to look differently. And when you look at it every day, it doesn't match the expectation that you had for it. Whatever it is, most of our anxiety comes from being let down, right? Not those expectations not being met, because we created this life blueprint, right? So if you're going to go build a house, before you build that house, you're not just going to start throwing up some boards, right? And then nailing it in. You want to go in with a plan. And then you want to be able to be in the flow too, because sometimes as you're building the house, you've got to make changes because there's a better way, a way that's going to make it more beautiful or more efficient. And so you have to make some adjustments. So someone comes along and, you've got the plumber that comes along and says, we can't put this bathroom here. We need to put it over here because we need to line all the plumbing. As we build the house of our life, we have to pay attention to what we're building, right? And be in the flow of what we're building. Like, make adjustments along the way and trusting your intuition. So many of us have been trained, especially in America, in North America, to focus on 40 hours a week and having material possessions. And so many people that have been so programmed and conditioned to be like that aren't happy, because we associate our sense of self with our achievements and what we've accumulated or what we experience. And I know I did that for so many years. Like, I shared this story vulnerably, growing up very humbly. When I saw happy people, I was typically looking at people who had more than me. And I thought, oh, that's the key, is they're more educated, they have more than me. And so maybe that's what I need, right? So I need to find a way to gain more, so much more. And if I do that, then that's going to be happiness. Now, don't get me wrong. Like my mentor, Rita Davenport, always said, money's right up there with there. It does make a difference. But I've traveled to third world countries, and I've worked in with AIDS orphans in Africa. And what I've recognized that there are people on this planet that have absolutely nothing, but they're happier than the people on this planet that have everything. And so we really need to do a check for ourselves and really ask ourselves, am I in my truth and my alignment of what I truly desire and want to do? And so one thing we can do to really begin to recognize where we're at energetically is ask ourselves, am I in flow or resistance? So if you imagine an action, okay, so let's just imagine that you keep doing what you're doing. You stick to the same job. I want you to focus on the job you're doing right now, whatever that is. And I want you to imagine yourself 5 years from now doing the same job, getting the same results. How does that feel to you? Do you feel happy or in the flow, or do you have some resistance? And if you have resistance, that's telling you are not in alignment with your life path. All right. And so what does that mean? That means you've got to change something. You either have to change how you're doing something. So get some advice from someone that is where you want to be. My mentor, Rita Davenport, also used to say, don't take advice from people that are more messed up than you. And that's such great, solid advice, because how many times do we go get advice from people on business or life, and they've never done it or experienced it themselves, and we're listening to them. That's the thing, my friends. It's really, truly about us getting back in touch with like what it is that we want to experience for ourselves. All right. And being in the flow of what we want to experience. Do we feel open when we imagine doing what we're doing right now in a few years or 5 years from now? Or do we feel closed? So if you feel closed, you got to do something. You got to take some action. Also, another thing we can do is reflect on our past. When you were younger, what was your favorite job? What was your favorite hobbies? What made you feel so good inside? Okay. What got you excited? Was it horseback riding? Was it acting? Was it singing? Was it writing? What was it? That really connects us to, because when we're younger, we're so in tune to our soul and our purpose. I remember really feeling excited when I was younger about beauty, and I loved doing makeup and hair, and I loved it. I always loved doing it. And it was so funny because I remember saying, well, gosh, I should go into doing something like that, but I know I want to make a lot of money because I want to have a lot of freedom. And at that time, I couldn't, come up with a plan. I thought, well, if I were to be a cosmetologist, they're not going to make the kind of money I want to make, so I can have the kind of freedom I want to make, or have. And so I was like, I've got to find something else. So it's so interesting that I wound up building a beauty business where, I was able to produce some next level freedom for myself. But that was for me always. I always wanted to be free. I always wanted to travel. I always wanted to have new experiences. I wanted to treat other people to experiences. I wanted love and connection. I wanted to have fun and laugh. And so I have to align myself all the time now, with those things. I have to always ask myself also too, you don't know what you don't know. So how do you know what you like if you don't go have some experiences, right? So pay attention to when you see things on social media or people talking about things that they've done. And does it get you excited? And another sign too is if you get a little bit of envy or jealousy over somebody's life, that's telling you, well, gosh, that's something you'd want to do. Okay, so write it down instead of being jealous, or be happy for them and say, thank you so much for sharing with me, something that, sparked my interest, intrigued me. That gives me a little bit closer to what it is I desire. So it's really important for us to just let our intuition guide us, and how do we get closer to our intuition? Well, meditation, journaling, movement, yoga, anything that makes you feel completely at peace and within yourself, right? It allows us to begin to heal and to be in our flow. And and to just really get connected more to source. When I'm talking to people, I always like to see what makes them light up. So I'll ask them questions, and I lean in and I watch their eyes and their body movement. And when I see them light up, that always tells me that that's in alignment with their truth. Because a lot of times we have a hard time, right? We have a hard time recognizing what we love and our truth and our path, because we're so, conditioned to play by everybody else's rules and their playbook. And I've just had to learn to just decondition myself, right? Like, well, that was planted in me by someone who loved me, who had good intentions, but that wasn't my dream. That was their dream, their ideas. So we really have to recognize that some of us are also living the dreams of our loved ones. The teacher, the sister, the brother, the aunt, the mother, the father, because they had all these dreams and goals for you. And now they planted those seeds in you because they never lived their own life of dreams. And so they are casting their dreams onto you in hopes that you won't make the same mistakes that they made. And if they get the chance, if you wind up making your dreams a reality, you get praise and recognition. But then that becomes unfulfilled because you wake up one day and say, that wasn't my dream. I just did that for somebody else. And it's not that anybody meant to do harm. It's just everybody, especially as parenting, it's a very fragile thing. We have to really be careful not to cast our dreams and ideas onto our children. We have to make sure that we allow them the space to make mistakes, grow and learn and test and do the things that brings their heart the most, joy. It's really hard to even get on our life path or stay on our life path when we're in an environment where it's negative and people don't encourage growth and encourage contribution and service and love and acceptance. Acceptance is a big one. Like, a lot of times people don't follow in their truth or speak their truth because they're afraid they're not going to be accepted. But I truly believe, if somebody's not going to accept me for who I am, for my mistakes, for my beauty, for my pain, for all of it, then they're not the kind of person I need to have in my circle. I don't need to have them in my inner circle. I only want those people in my life that accept me for everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, whatever it might be. Those are the people you hold close. Those are the people you take care of. And you'll learn. You may share something with someone that's really personal and private, or a dream or a goal or a fear. And if they make fun of you or judge you for it, it's going to tell you very quickly they're probably not someone you need to keep in your inner circle. Doesn't mean you abandon them and not like them or shame them or don't talk to them, but it's not a great person to support you to stay on your life purpose and getting on that path of realizing what you're meant to realize while you're here. I love what Ralph Waldo Emerson said. There is simply the rose. It is perfect in every moment of its existence, just as we all are, like that rose. We are all perfect. In every moment of our evolution and of our creation, we are perfection. There is nothing missing. There is nothing imperfect about the imperfections of what we are becoming and what we are. It is just that we are all experiencing all these different layers and levels of growth. And we have to pass through many fires and storms and, sunshiny days in order to become the beautiful rose that we are meant to become. It's not that one is more beautiful than the other. They're all beautiful. They all smell beautiful, right? You may look at one rose and it's got many imperfections and it's starting to wither. And you'll look at another rose and it looks perfect. They both smell beautiful. They both smell fragrant and they smell like a rose. And that's what you are. And it's what we are. And so it's really important, just to stay in your own lane in this life. And, if you were to look in the rearview mirror when you're driving, the whole time you're going to crash into something. You're going to crash. And that's what we have a tendency to do. I do it too. Sometimes I'm looking in my past that what I want isn't back there, right? I can learn, I can grow, I can become from that. And what I want, though, is what is ahead of me, the vision I have for myself, how I want to feel, how I want to feel, the emotions I want to exist in, the emotions that I want to embody when I wake up, the gratitude, the love and connection, the community, the service. Like, that is where I'm going. That is where I'm growing. And so that is where my focus needs to be, right? It needs to be in your present moment of also appreciating where you are, not judging it, not shaming it, not blaming it, not comparing it, not competing with it. Just accepting that this is my past decisions, my past choices has gotten me to where I am right now. Okay, this is where I'm supposed to be. And I'm choosing to live this most epic life that aligns with me. Like some people, as I journey, through this life, I've often joked that, you won't get me jumping out of an airplane. I have no desire to jump out of an airplane, especially at this point in my life. I just don't have any interest in it. Doesn't mean I won't one day, but right now I'm not interested in jumping out of an airplane. And then you may talk to somebody else and they're like, oh my God, it was the best experience of my life. I freaking loved it. It was so incredible. It was so liberating. And I'm like, not for me. Like, I'd rather go meditate, in a monastery or something. It's okay. Like, it doesn't make me feel like, wow, I'm less than, or I'm not as strong as, or I'm not as brave as, or I'm not as courageous as that soul because they're doing something I don't want to do. Well, that's just what makes us so great, right? And so different. Like, there's many things that I do that scare people, and they're afraid to do. For example, I'm not afraid to be super vulnerable and tell you all my stuff and my pain and my glory. A lot of people are scared to speak their truth because they're afraid of losing love and connection. I'm not afraid. I'm like, my truth is my truth. This is what it is. And so we all have different gifts and talents and abilities, and we just have to begin to just love, the beautiful gifts that we are. And, what I love so much about the Buddha's teachings is that he really talks or spoke about being open and also non-attached. Non-attachment is a big thing for all of us. I feel like, we get so attached to who we should be or who we think we should be and who others should be and what they should be. And we just get in our head so much, and we're just not even present, living for today and allowing the universe to guide us, to truly guide us in our path. And that's what I want to encourage all of you to do as we begin to close up here, is just really begin to sit in your quiet space and allow the universe and trust the universe to use you and be creative through you and to share with you something way better than you could have ever come up with on your own. And that's what I'm learning to do every day, is surrender a little bit more, a lot more. Literally, if I had a dime for every time I say, gosh, I need to surrender here, I can't imagine how much wealth I would have, because it's a constant chatter. It's a constant reminder to surrender is to really, I guess, accept more of what the universe's divine plan is for myself. And that's really what's so fun, is when you are able to surrender into that flow of the universal life force and energy, you're able to experience things way beyond what you could have ever dreamed of. Hopefully you all gained a lot from this today and were motivated and inspired to really begin to, decompress and surrender into not knowing all the time, but just really truly focusing on being in your flow and showing less resistance and honoring yourself in your path and what you want, and letting yourself be a shining light for other people to then do the same. What a gift you are, what a gift we are. And together we can, really change this planet and help people to help themselves. All right. Sending you all so much love, joy, and happiness in your day.